President Biden says the U.S. has reached a major milestone in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic.
When tomorrow's vaccine and vaccination numbers come out, we will show that today we did it. Today we hit 200 million shots and the 92nd day in office. 200 million shots in 100 days, in under 100 days, actually.
The president said that at the current vaccination rate, the country is on track to a, quote, closer to normal life by the 4th of July. According to CDC numbers, 1 in 3 Americans have received at least 1 dose, and now anyone 16 and older is eligible to receive the vaccine. But the president is still urging people to remain vigilant, as some states have seen a spike in cases. For more, I'm joined by CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes. Nancy, some thought that 100 million doses in President Biden's first 100 days was unattainable. But now, here we are, reaching 200 million. So what's the next goal for the White House?
Well, they're really pivoting, Lana, to what they see as the big challenge ahead of them, which is that some 80% of U.S. seniors have now been vaccinated, but more than half of working-age Americans have not. And there is a recognition here at the White House that there are a number of hurdles to getting that population vaccinated. And it isn't just all about vaccine hesitancy. Yes, there is an issue that there are many Americans, some 20%, according to some polls, who, for various reasons, don't want to get the vaccine. But what the White House and the president argued today is that there are a lot of other reasons that people might not get the vaccine. You might have younger, healthier working Americans who really, haven't been as worried about it. You might have Americans who fear that they're going to be penalized if they try to take time off, either to get the vaccine or to recover from any symptoms that they have as a result of it. So that's where the focus is now, trying to find ways to encourage younger Americans to get vaccinated now that they have the opportunity. And I heard the president for the first time today use some new language. He argued that it is your patriotic duty to get vaccinated. So trying to make the case, even to Americans who might not be that concerned about their own risk, their own personal risk, that this is for the good of the country that you go ahead and get your shot.
Patriotic duty. Well, Nancy, we've also been hearing from Republicans a desire to have the Trump administration recognized for their role in developing the vaccine. What are you hearing from the White House now?
This is a White House that has not been that eager to give a lot of credit to the Trump administration. They will say that, yes, the Trump administration threw everything it had at the creation of the vaccine, partnering with drug makers, locking in doses to purchase very early on. But they argue that where the Trump administration really fell down was when it came to distribution of the vaccine once the supply began to ramp up. They say there was really no plan in place, and they've said repeatedly that when they came into office, they found that the problem was even bigger than they had anticipated. Now, some of that may just be political competitiveness, a desire to set themselves apart from the previous administration. It's not surprising that Republicans would want to hear more credit for the previous administration. But as time has gone on, we have seen that Biden officials seem to want to talk less and less about the Trump era rather than more and more.
Certainly no love lost between those different administrations. Well, Nancy, you were talking initially about President Biden trying to really encourage final holdouts to get vaccinated. In part, he's trying to urge businesses to give employees paid leave to get their vaccine and is providing an incentive to do so. What is he offering?
He's offering a tax credit. This was actually part of the American Rescue Plan, but it went largely unnoticed that small businesses, these are businesses with fewer than 500 employees, can actually get tax credits if they make it easier for their employees to go ahead and get their vaccine. So if they give them time off, paid time off to get the vaccine, or paid time off if they have any symptoms, they can actually get reimbursed from the federal government up to $500 a day per worker if the worker makes that much. And this is all designed to convince small businesses. What the White House has said is a lot of big businesses are doing this already. They've got a system in place, but small businesses may not feel that they can either A, spare a worker for half a day or a day, or B, that they can't afford to pay that worker to go ahead and take time off to get the vaccine. So this is one way to incentivize those small businesses to let their workers off the hook for a day, half a day, in order to get the vaccine. Beyond that, the White House is also encouraging businesses, big and small, to push their workers to get vaccinated, to maybe offer them incentives to do so. A gift card, perhaps, if you go ahead and get vaccinated. What the White House is not doing is encouraging employers to require that workers get vaccinated in order to come back to work. That is sort of a line that this White House has not been willing to cross, but they want businesses to be at the forefront of encouraging people to get vaccinated, because they recognize that at this point, what it's going to take to get people in all 50 states vaccinated at the rates they need to get vaccinated in order to reach herd immunity is not going to be more and more messages from the federal government. It's going to be hearing from your coworker, from your family member, from a neighbor, from your local doctor about why you should get vaccinated. Those are the kinds of messages that are going to resonate with people, and they think that businesses large and small have a big role to play here.
Nancy, let's switch topics, because President Biden and Vice President Harris have been really urging Congress to pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act following Derek Chauvin's guilty verdict. The bill faces challenges in getting Senate approval. How involved is the White House in that fight?
You know, they're not that involved right now. The president has discussed it with various key lawmakers, but there are a couple of reasons that the White House is not really at the forefront of this push. First of all, they're really focused on infrastructure right now. That's their next big priority. That's the piece of the puzzle key to their agenda that they want to get passed, and they don't want to lose that momentum. That's number one. Number two, they recognize that this is a very big hurdle trying to get that policing legislation over the finish line. There are major differences between Democrats and Republicans when it comes to police reform. This is legislation that has been stalled for more than a year. And so while they think that there's a window now for more negotiation, and it appears that that's actually happening over issues like qualified immunity, whether either police officers or police departments could be held liable more so than they are now when violations happen, that they could be taken they could be taken to civil court, which often can't happen right now. There actually are discussions underway between Republicans and Democrats that we haven't seen before. So there are some promising signs, but I think there is still a recognition here at the White House that it would be something of a miracle if Democrats and Republicans were able to compromise on a topic that is this loaded. So they're being a little cautious right now.
Yeah, but there is just a little glimmer of optimism in knowing that they're actually at least having those conversations. Nancy, thank you.
Absolutely.